Hey guys, my name is Jonathan and I am the host of Trivial Warfare. I just finished doing my tax forms for the year, which means I was looking at all the money that came in and the money that went out, and I realized that this was as good a time as any to do what amounts to a state of the show address for 2017, 2018. You know, when Chris and I started the show 3 years ago, we could have never imagined where we would be right now. We've made so many incredible friendships. We've had some incredible experiences, and it's just been fantastic, right? Sometimes I think about all the different things that have happened to get us to this point, and I'm just amazed. So I'm thinking about that when I want to share some details with you. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about our income. I'm going to talk a little bit about our expenses. And I'm also going to talk about what I perceive to be some opportunities and some threats before wrapping it up. First up, income. So I just did the taxes, and I can tell you that Trivial Warfare brought in just over $19,000 last year. That's amazing, right? So first things first, let me just say thank you. Thank you to everybody who's contributed to that. At least 80% of that has been from listener donation, and that's incredible. I can't even imagine that I'd still be doing the show and putting in the amount of work that I put in on it without that tangible representation of your support. We have so many people who are passionate about the show, so many people who love it, and that's one of the most obvious and clear ways that people show it. And so you guys are amazing, and thank you. So you hear that number, and I hear that number, and you think, "Wow, Jonathan must be doing really well. That's a cool number for a side job. That's a big deal." And then we get to the expenses part, and this blew my mind because you're doing your taxes and you're trying to make sure you've accounted for everything. In 2017, directly related to the show, I spent $17,500. I know. It's nuts. 17,500. So that goes into a lot of different categories, right? Here are some of the types of things that money went to. That went to editing help, thousands of dollars in editing. That went to paying our hosts. That went to the different giveaways that we do. That went to all kinds of fees for hosting and websites and redirects and different addresses and tools and software. It went to hardware. It went to physical equipment. I got a laptop last year that allowed me to edit and to record on the road without taking my entire computer with me. So lots of amazing things, right? But yeah, last year we pretty much spent almost everything of what we brought in, and that's to be expected. We're in a growth mode. I'm reinvesting in what we're doing here. And also, I don't want to forget, it also includes things that I think are a good idea that are meant to benefit you. Things like the Pub Quiz Index. I spent a decent amount of money to get that up and running as quickly as I did. And so those are things that I think are good for us as a community, and I didn't hesitate to use that money for those purposes. Frankly, it's okay if you're shocked by that number. I was shocked too. Wow, right? So that's what it was. Right now, it's looking like 2018 will be more profitable than 2017, and that's a great feeling. It's also really cool because it frees me up to do more things and to try different things and to expand. I can tell you one of the ways, counting on that I've already used that, was to give bonuses to our hosts earlier this year. That was a fantastic feeling. It's something that I've been wanting to do for a while, and that allowed me to do it. So 2018 is looking good. You might be surprised to learn that I haven't actually ever paid myself with money from the show. That's not to say I haven't benefited from the money. Obviously, I mentioned the laptop, the different equipment, a lot of the services and software that I've purchased. I've done that to make my life easier, to make things go faster, and just to make the show better. But those things benefit me too. I'm well aware of that. So please, there's Sebastian in the background, making sure that he gets on camera. I heard that. Are you laughing? Get out of the kitchen. What are you doing? All right, get a toy. I lost my place. Let me try and get it back. Hey, you got a pen for me? Where'd you get? It's a Patreon pen. Sebastian brought me a Patreon pen. That's ironic. There it is. It couldn't be better than that, huh? All right, Sebastian. Can you go back, please? Say bye-bye. Bye-bye. Okay. I was saying, obviously, the things I've spent the money on has benefited me, so I'm not trying to claim poverty over here. But it's interesting that I haven't used it in that fashion yet. So the next thing I want to talk to you guys is about opportunities. So there's a couple of big opportunities this year that I'm really looking at and I'm planning for, right? The first opportunity comes because I'm going to be moving soon. Sometime in the next 2 to 3 months, it's looking like I'm going to need to move because of school district issues. I want to be in a different school district for Sebastian. And I was looking at the place where I need to be is a nicer area, which is tough because that means it's more expensive. And I was looking at apartments, and the apartments are worse than this one. All of them. I mean, I went and looked through all of them, and I didn't like any of them. They were worse than where I am, and they were more expensive. And the big opportunity for me here is that I've been limited here with space. I've always wanted to build a studio so that I didn't have to set up and tear down and set up and tear down our equipment every week, which is a big pain. And would also allow me to produce a more consistent show, because if we could leave all the settings the same every week and have people in the same places every week, you could start to adjust and keep things in the right place and learn the different tweaks for each person. And so those are all things that I've been wanting to do. And I'm very much looking at taking this as an opportunity to go beyond what my initial plans were and to look at actually renting a house instead of an apartment so that I could get an extra bedroom and use that bedroom and turn it into a studio. So that's a big opportunity. I just laid out why all of that's important to me. And the support that you guys provide for the show that I mentioned earlier is actually going to help me accomplish that studio. So I'm very excited about that opportunity moving forward. And the second big one is around video. So I'm planning on putting together a studio, and I'm planning to optimize it for video. That's going to mean some new equipment, maybe some lighting, definitely a camera, a few different things, but I'm planning to set this thing up so that we can record the whole show, every show. Not because I'm going to produce it as a video show, because frankly, I don't think it would be a very good video show. It'd be too long, the editing would be too arduous. But what I want to do with it is to highlight the couple of best moments in a show, right? The amazing, funny things that happen, the places where we're cracking up, the places where somebody's getting out of their chair and moving around, all those things that you're like, oh, I wish I could have seen that. I want to cut those out of the show and edit them and put them out on YouTube and on social media to have as a new channel to share the show with and to give people a different way to find us, marketing tools, as it were. So that's the big thing by doing the studio. We're going to get better consistency. It's going to be easier for me, and I'm also really excited about making it a video opportunity. And so those are the two big things that I'm hoping to accomplish before the end of this year. And then lastly, I want to talk a little bit about threats. I don't want to end on a low note, but that's kind of where this falls into line. So there's two major things that keep me up at night. There's two major problems. And these might surprise you. I've always been pretty straightforward and honest. Let me say that. That's not true. I've always been very straightforward and honest. And so this won't be any different. The first thing that keeps me up at night is the recent increase in the number of people and number of dollars that have been declining or moving away from Patreon. So when I say that, I can tell you that we've been on Patreon for exactly 24 months. And in the first 20 months, I have the stat written down here. In the first 20 months, we had 424 total dollars that got declined or removed from Patreon during that whole period. So about $33 a month, right? In the last 4 months, we've had $410 removed, over $100 a month. So those are active decisions by people who signed up and then changed their mind, or signed up and then something happened, whatever the case is. And I'm not sharing that. I'm not sharing names. I'm not saying anything like that. This isn't about any kind of guilt. I want to make sure you guys understand that. But that's a trend that I'm definitely paying attention to, because I'm always wondering what we could have done differently. You know, it's almost like when you get broken up with, was it something I said? Was it something we did? And I'm always trying to figure out what that break point was. And most of the time, or a lot of the time, it's probably not even anything to do with us. It might just be what's happening at the time in people's lives. But I'm still very cognizant of that. And so that's one of the things that I'm trying to make sure that we are doing what we need to do so that people aren't dropping out for reasons that I could control. And the second thing is actually a reason that I can control, that I'm worried is actually one of the big impetuses for the first problem. And that is the fact that I struggle to get people on the show in a timely fashion after they sign up. Yeah, that's the honest truth, guys. So the reality is, when I set up our goal structure 2 years ago, I set up the $10 tier as the place where people could come and get on the show. And I had no idea. There was no thought in my mind that it would ever become a problem in terms of the number of people who had signed up. But by the end of last year, you guys already know I had to shift our rewards and create the major rank at $15 because we just had too many people. We were overcommitted. And here we are now, about 14 months later, 15 months later, and it's kind of the same spot. To give you guys a sense of it, I'm committed to having over 130 guest spots in the next 52 weeks based on our current ranks and people who have signed up. And that doesn't even include any of the captains. That's too many. That's 52 weeks a year. That's an average of 2.5 guests per show. And the best shows, the most entertaining shows, typically have 1 or 2 guests. The 3-person or 3-team shows, they get a little long sometimes. Sometimes they're great, but they can be problematic as well. And so I'm balancing guests with quality on the show as well. And so I don't have an answer for that. I'm not shifting the tiers right now. I can tell you I don't have any plans to do that right now. But I am looking at that problem, and I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do about it. In the meantime, I can tell you what I've been doing about it as a workaround. I've been using bonus shows, and I'm trying to process as many bonus shows as I can to give people a chance to come on so that I can help meet my commitments to you guys and have you get on the show. And so that's not sustainable long term. It's a lot more extra work, and that's not the way that I want to solve this problem. But it is a commitment that I'm trying to meet. And so it's worth it for you guys to be aware of that, so you know where it stands right now. So that's the update. I want to wrap up here. I can tell you it's been a great year. It's been a huge year of growth. I've had some amazing opportunities. And this year, more than any other, has been the opportunity to meet you guys in person and to hang out with you and to get to know you. And I've already... 2018 here, I already have plans to go see different people, and I know when I travel certain places that I'm going to let you guys know so that I get a chance to meet more people. That's all really, really exciting, and that's one of the best parts about what we do. And when I think about our threats, frankly, those are great problems to have. If your biggest problem is too many people like what you're doing, then that's the kind of problem that I want to solve. That's a lot better than the alternative, you know what I mean? So let's keep it in perspective when talking about it. But that is obviously something that we're working on, and I'm really looking forward to discovering what the rest of 2018 holds for us. Trivial Warfare has been a fantastic experience for 3 years now, and I'm looking forward to many more. So thank you all very much. Thank you for your continued support. You are amazing. And this is Jonathan signing off.